Hi all, it's Two Dogs here, and today we're going to review Divinity 2 Original Sin. Now, right off the hop, I'm going to say that I never played the original game, so I'm kind of a virgin to the whole Divinity series, but it's very, from what I've played so far, it's very similar to the, and I don't want to turn you off like this, but it's the same sort of format as Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, but I mean, come on, it's a new game, and there's so much to it. I just don't know where to start. I'm going to try and make this as brief as possible so I don't take up too much time, but in the same time refer to you to a great game. So I'm not going to bother with the multiplayer, but it is here and it is active, just so you know. This game is so hard. I mean, the learning curve is like 90 degrees. It really is. If you're looking for a game where you can just bash your way through things, this isn't the game for you. I mean, this takes a lot of tactics. It's almost like a game of chess. I mean, it's there's so many different factors and variables and environments you got to think about when you're playing this game. But I'll get into combat later. Let's start off with. For now, I'm just going through these different difficulties so you can see what lies ahead of you. It adds to the game replay value, but I couldn't imagine playing anything over classic mode uh, at, at my skill level. And this game is just so hard. I can't. I know I'm going on about it, but I mean this game is really hard to figure out. So if you're like me and you like a game with a challenge, this is a game for you. But once you get it down, the combat and stuff like that, it's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's really rewarding. Now, obviously, to go through the characters here. Um, Male or female, the regular rigmarole. You can change your appearance, customize your character, which I really enjoy. You can change your name. There's two different types of characters here. There's also an origin class, like each character has an origin. It's got its own background and stuff like that. Well, I didn't go for that. I like to create my own little lore and background for my own little guy. And that's one of the things I like about RPGs is that you can create your own story and your own sort of, you know, the way your guy is, his history, all that kind of stuff. And especially in this game, it's very open-ended. I mean, you can miss quests and you don't have to go back. Nobody likes doing that kind of stuff. And you can still continue on with the storyline, which is great. Which tells me that the developers have a very well-threaded storyline, which is fantastic, as it is open-ended. Some people turn away from that. I really do. Now, aside from customizing your character's appearance and all that kind of stuff, you can change his class and race. There's also your tributes, abilities, and talents. And talents really help you out in the long run, so choose them wisely. I'm just showcasing a few of them here. Um, you can gain these during the game when you level up as well. So it's really important to make a good decision when it comes to talent. Here's tags. These are basically your origins if you want to make your own origin up. I chose Mystic and I think I chose Mystic and Outlaw for my Shadowblade character in my real game. Now instruments, you can choose background instrument music here, each one as I click on it here. Yeah, cello's the way to go. I like the cello. Big guy. Now it's important to know that no matter what your character preset is, like you might be a cleric, you might be a mage, you might be a fighter, you can change this throughout the game depending on how you work your magic system, what you study, what you level up. I mean, it's whatever you start out with is not what you might end up with. Okay, so you might have like me in my game I'm going through the storyline with is a shadow blade with summoning skills. I mean, okay, it works. So keep that in mind when you're creating your character. Sure, you start out with certain skills and certain talents and certain spells or whatever, but that changes throughout the game. Definitely does. And for me, I think that's fantastic. It's a great feature. And when I say that, I mean that you get to choose what you're leveling up. So it's not like just random you turn into a mage or you turn into a thief. I mean, it's what you determine it to be. Now, if you're a self-proclaimed artist such as myself, you're gonna love this artwork. It's some pretty groovy stuff. Check it out.
A single drop of source magic. And
keep in mind this
like
style of
flies to
artwork
honey,
is throughout the game.
the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared. And sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
So after doing some research, I found out that this game actually takes place 1,000 years after the first game. So let's move on to combat, story, and basic mechanics of the game. Now here we are. This is my game in play that I'm actually going through the storyline with. My characters are at level 6. Eventually, you start off the game by yourself, and then you pick up your party as you go along, and very quickly. So I've got Lois, who's my archer, me, who's a Shadow Blade. That's me with the beard up there. And I got my dwarf fighter, and my cleric is the lizard guy. So basically, my party adds up to a healer, an archer, a tank, and a stealthy kind of thiefy guy, which is me. Let's just touch on graphics and sound. My computer's probably the worst to show you graphics on, but I mean, they are fantastic. The castles, the scenery, just awesome. And of course, you can zoom. You've got different camera panning angles and all that kind of stuff. Sound, fantastic, absolutely brilliant sound. And like I showed you earlier, you can pick your background music instrument, which is I just think that's a cool little feature. Just a couple random things right off the hop. You're chucked into this game with very little to go on. I mean, there's tutorial tips and stuff like that, but not a heck of a lot in the way of, hey, you should go here and you should go there, because it is really open-ended, right? Like, so, I mean, there's the main story quests and there's also side quests, and you don't have to complete all the quests. So you can just get carried away and just, do a million other little side quests and still enjoy the game quite a bit. Other things of note is, yes, there is a crafting system. You can craft magic weapons, armor, potions, scrolls, all sorts of stuff. Okay, NPCs, they have attitude modifiers, so you can really piss off an NPC and you won't get that quest that NPC character can give you. Also, you can impress NPC characters. You can get better deals on items. Basically you're bartering better. They're more favorable towards you. But like, I'm trying to make this review as short as possible because I know people's attention span isn't much when it comes to watching videos. Let's just say there's a hell of a lot to this game, and I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg with it. Skills and spells and all that kind of stuff took me a long time to get down. As a complete noob to this genre of gameplay, I did play Baldur's Gate and stuff like that, but this is not Baldur's Gate. It's not Neverwinter Nights. It took me a while to get the spells and different schools, and I was confused about what the source was. But I don't really want to get into all that because I think people should figure it out on their own, because that's part of the joy of playing this game. But the sooner you figure it out, the better. And don't be discouraged if you play this game up to like level 4 or 5 and realize you did everything wrong, because you can still change it. And that's exactly what I did. And that's what's really forgiving about this game. It's probably the only forgiving thing. And it's really interesting of note just to say that is because this game is all about destiny. So you can change your destiny in this game. Sure you can. So like I said, I was playing this game. I had all the magic and stuff down wrong. I was totally ballsing it up and basically just redoing combat after combat. And eventually when I got it down, it made things a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. But the learning process was also enjoyable in itself. And that's really rare to say because a lot of people can find that frustrating. I find it more of a challenge. And personally, I find that a memorable experience. Now, like I said, this is just a brief overview, and I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. So let's move on to combat. Okay, combat, here we go. Combat is your basic turn-based system, relying on action points, and of course, the quicker your character is, the sooner he's going to go in the pecking order and that sort of thing. Now, of course, there's a number of modifying factors that make your character go first, or, sooner in the pecking order. And, of course, that's dexterity and finesse, and the character class and the skills and stuff he has. In the end, though, it's something you can improve on, and so your slow character at first might end up faster at different levels down the line. So keep that in mind as well. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, this game is a lot like chess. You really got to counter your opponent's moves, kind of be intuitive on what they're going to do. And you got to be wary of the environment. There might be oil on the ground, and you go and step on it, and your character gets slowed, and the next thing you know, you're hit with a flaming magic wand, and the whole ground is on fire, and you're standing in the middle of it like a piece of barbecued pork. Perfection. So with that being said, there's a lot of different factors the environment plays in combat. And like I said, you can multiply things. Like you can hit a guy with a water wand, he becomes wet, then get another character or the same character to hit him with an electrical spell, and that he gets shock damage as well because he's wet, right? Or standing in a pool of water. You might come up in the environment and somebody will be walking through a shallow pond, and you can hit him with a shock electrical damage, and he'll take that damage multiplied because he's standing in the water. There's a lot of these factors play a major role in the combat system. Now, like I said, I don't want to spend hours explaining combat because I think people should figure it out on their own. And that's the beauty of this game, is that you can play this game for quite a long time and you'll have it down, or you think you have it down, but you don't really, because there's a lot of mistakes to be made. I mean, let me just give you an example. I was trying to hit undead creatures with poison. I mean, that's a noob mistake, man. I mean, not only did it heal them, I was just wasting turns, right? Now, then again, you can hit an undead with a healing spell, and yeah, you'll knock them down a bit. So you can change your destiny in this game without having to restart the game, and that's what I really like about this game. You just need to do a few extra side quests and maybe get that experience up a little bit before you can take on that boss that previously was beating the living tar out of you. So once you get the levels, you get a few extra skills, you start allotting your spells in different areas, and you change your gameplay and your game style a bit, you can change your own destiny. And that's the true beauty of this game, is you're able to change your own destiny. And I can't stress that enough. Okay, so with that being said, there's a lot more to combat than what I've just briefly mentioned, but like I said, I don't want to go on and on and on about it. So I'm going to wrap up this video with some scenes that I've come across in my gameplay, just so you can get an idea of what this game has in store for you. Now, I'll admit you might find a few minor spoilers in the next couple of clips, so keep that in mind. If you don't want to see some of the action, stop the video now. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you very much for watching. Take care, all.
Die, all of you.
What is this place?
A tall woman stands amid a field of corpses, some fresh, some ancient. The sourest, the woman turns to you, bitten lips parting.
What a bore.
She stands to her full height, her lips pursed in disappointment. She cocks her head and takes you in. The stench of death and sewage sudden.
Now, that's an Ave de More de Mergelach. Very good, kitten. Now,
She pats the bouquet at her hip.
But you're too late. Looks like we'll have to find some other way to keep you busy. Come.
She bites her lip and leans in.
I find you rather delicious. Just because something is...
She presses her lips to yours. Her mouth is soft. Suddenly, her breath... You hear a low hum, getting loud. She stumbles back a few paces and wipes her mouth.
Ha ha! Delicious. Tell me, little man, do you know why the soil here... Very good. Lovely. I'll need more roses soon.
The dragon rakes the earth with ice. Quakes from the impact knock you back.
My thanks.
The freed dragon looks sick and pale. As you approach, he stretches his tattered wings weakly and fixes his intense gaze upon you. Frozen tears glint in his eyes.
My gratitude for your efforts, friend. Yet I am no more free now than I was in those chains.
There's an odd mark on the side of the figurehead. Battle damage, weather staining. It almost looks like a pattern hole. Searing pain races up your arm. The ship senses you. It's angry. The pain intensifies. It's spreading past your arm, across... The figurehead continues its vigil over the seas. The deck beneath you groans and trembles, like the ship itself is awaking from a slumber. A deep sigh emerges, unmistakably the sound of a living being.
You are not the witch. You are not Dallas. You sang the song. Now you must decide my fate. Are you to be my new master? You are kind, but I can never be free again. Not truly. I am a vessel and must be guided. Let me take you wherever you wish. We can depart as soon as you are ready. Ask. I am here to serve in all ways.